Good evening, sir. Thanks very much for your time. Now, over a month ago, you embarked on this vetting process as the ANC to look at the nominations that were sent by your structure by your structures, and to check whether, in fact, one, in terms of the electoral laws, those candidates do indeed qualify, but also, secondly, whether, as the party, those people live up to your expectations, but also they are proper and members of your party and have not been found wanting in terms of the criteria that you set. How did that process go?
No, thank you very much, Mr. Mvoko, as well as to the viewers at home, for the opportunity granted to the ANC by ENCA. So far, we are ready for the deadline of the IEC. We are done with the vetting process. We are done with the option for nominee and candidates to accept or decline.
But that would have been done by now, isn't it?
No, that has been done by now. As we are talking now, we have paid our deposit to the IEC. At the stage where we are, when I left the office now, we were uploading our list. So we'll be ready by tomorrow to go and take hard copies. Electronically, we are busy now uploading our list, and we hope later tonight or later in the early hours of the morning we would have uploaded our list. You know, ours is the largest of them all, because we contest both national and all 9 provincial ballots. So that's where we are now. But in terms of our list nationally, we are looking for a national to national to put up 200 names, province to national, to put up another 200 names, which will take us to about 400, which is the allocated seats in our National Assembly in terms of our constitution. From there, we will contest various provincial legislatures. They vary from size in terms of the population. So we are contesting all of them. So we expect in total to register not less than 800 people in our list, both those who will be in safe position as well as those who will be on the reserve list.
Now, in terms of the criteria that you've set out, and from the information that these people would have given you, and from what your other processes churned out, and I'm talking here about such things as your spooks, the ANC's own spooks, Mbokodo spooks, from the investigations that they did behind the scenes, from the bank statements that people have provided. You are satisfied as the ANC that these people are upright, that these people are there won't be any matters arising, whether they were in conflict with the law at some point, or whether they have been involved in all sorts of shenanigans, or whether their behavior, they may not have committed crimes, but their behavior was found wanting in the past. You're satisfied that all 800 of them meet each and every criteria that you set for yourselves and that the law sets out?
No, thank you very much. So far, we are happy that all our candidates that we are submitting to the IEC meet the criteria in terms of the Electoral Act of the Republic, because the IEC as an authority is the one that administers and runs elections. So the criteria is set out by the IEC in terms of the Electoral Act, and that's why we will be submitting our list. We took our list through our own scrutiny internally as a party to check that none of our candidates is in conflict with the law as established by the Electoral Act, because we don't want to come up with assumptions. We don't want to come up with a court of public opinion. We would not want to judge anybody, because we are not the relevant authority to do so. We are not administering law and justice. We are a political party that is contesting elections. So far, we are happy, but the IEC also is still going to put us through scrutiny, because immediately after the deadline of tomorrow, all the list of all parties will be published for public scrutiny, and the IEC also will have an opportunity before they issue out certificate to all candidates to get a bite, to check even all the candidates. And at that time, public comments, as well as the IEC, will be the final arbiter to decide whether somebody is eligible to be a candidate or what. And once the IEC is comfortable, it will then issue certificates to all the candidates. But it must be known that if somebody that we thought is correct, but the IEC finds that particular person to be incorrect, we will comply and respect the authority of the IEC. It is up to that individual. If he has any problems, he reserves the right either to challenge the IEC.
Well, hopefully, as a leader of society, which you always say you are, you have not deferred certain categories of the people who are on your list, either to the IEC because you don't want to be fighting among yourselves and do the right thing, you know, at Luthuli House, for example. One hopes also that you're not leaving it to the public out there, especially people, activists, to actually say, well, hang on a minute, Malusi Gigaba may be high on your list, but we know for a fact that he was found by the public protector to have lied under oath, and also to have violated the code of ethics. Did you deal with the case of Malusi Gigaba as one example?
Yes, look, all cases were dealt with. So far out of our list, we can say we have at least about 5. I would not issue their names for their protection. 5 members that were found to be having serious criminal records, that they will not be in a position to go on the list, We do have a category that there are still pending cases against them. Now, because there's not been a pronouncement of the court, you know also in a constitutional democracy in terms of principles of jurisprudence, you are innocent until proven guilty, and laws of natural justice applies. In that case, we will leave such members in the list so that they go on the list because there are no judgments or court orders against them. There are members who, some of them are having issues, either through the Concord or through the public protector. In such cases, we have weighed our options. We are also looking at our legal options for now. We have engaged those individual members through either our top 6 or integrity commissions. But there are instances where we found that necessarily it was not an individual who is in question. It was either an agency or a department that they work for. And you know, in terms of...
So even if the public protector says, this was what I found wrong, you're saying you won't take that into consideration, but you'd rather rely on what you as the ANC are going to do to counter that, or you will make your own determination?
Look, there are a number of our members who has been found guilty through a court of public opinion. And you'd know equally that in a system like ours in our country, the court is a final arbiter of any dispute in society. We do respect the public protector as a chapter and an institution, but the public protector does not issue out court orders. The public protector issue out remedial actions that needs to
binding.
Which are binding, that we agree.
Which otherwise it'll have to be taken up on review.
Otherwise it will have to be taken up on review. And in some instances, there are members of the NC who are on the list who have taken some of their cases on review. And I think up until there's a proper pronouncement, we can't make any prejudgment or find them guilty on our own. So that's why we would allow such members to go through, whether it be Malusi Gigaba or Batabile Dlamini or Nomvula Mukonyane, because there are some who are implicated in some of the commissions which have been went through. But so far, those commissions have not taken them for cross-examination, or they've not been given a right of reply, or there are no recommendations from either in the case of Zondo, the Chief Justice has not recommended. So we can't preempt the situation and come up with adverse judgment against such members until a proper established process which is administered by law and by those who are responsible for justice.
So I don't... So I don't even need to ask you then about, for example, another category. You have two former ministers of state security who are serving in parliament as we speak, who are high up on the list, and they are most likely to go back if the list as their previous nominations are anything to go by. So even though there's this damning report on the state of state security state security organs, those people will be left there because, I mean, if going by what you say, you are going to leave a Malusi Kigaba and a Mvula Mokonyana alone, you will obviously be leaving these people alone as well.
No, thank you very much, Voyo. Look, we have also these two former ministers. The report as it is for now, it's a report that I think is still being considered by the president. And the president, as the chief executive of the republic, would have an opportunity to make decisions and recommendations related to that. Part of the recommendations in these reports, which these particular ministers, I'm sure they will still have to be given a right of reply. It's a matter that still has to be investigated by the law enforcement agencies, and up until they are formally charged, we will not be in a position to act because we treat that as some of the pending cases, like in other matters which involve some of our members. In a pending case, you can't take an administrative action against the person because that person has not been formally charged, and as a result of that, in a constitutional democracy, both the complainant and the respondent enjoys the same right in terms of Chapter 2 of the Bill of Rights.
That's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much, as usual, for coming through. Takota Legoete, who is the acting national spokesperson of the ANC.